Tonight, it is. And Gary Dickinson, just as he did last year, is in the right place at the right time. Also here, fresh from his induction into the ABC Hall of Fame, is PBA Senior rookie Mike Berlin. ESPN and the Professional Bowlers Association present the championship finals of the $225,000 American Bowling Congress PBA Senior Masters. Completing the field and starting off in the first match is Rich Morris from Aurora, Illinois. In second place, the bowler who bowled a 300 game in his last ESPN TV appearance, Ron Winger. And leading the field looking for his first victory is Hobo Boothe. Everyone to Greenacres Bowl in Greenacres, Florida. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Durbin. Joining me this week, as he will for all of our senior events, is a two-time ABC Masters champion. He's both an ABC and PBA Hall of Famer, Earl Anthony.
Nice to be here, Mike.
Nice to have you. You know, this is the ABC PBA Senior Masters Tournament, and the format is different here. Explain it to us.
Well, it's a very difficult format. It's tough for the bowlers. It's 400-plus bowlers entered the tournament. We cut to the top 111 after 10 games of qualifying. That 111 bowlers then bowled 5 more games. By the way, they all cashed. They all got a check. They bowled 5 more games. The top 63 total pins for the 15 games, then advanced to match play along with last year's champion. The defending champion is seeded. When they get into match play, they bowl a 3-game match and 1 pair of lanes against their opponent. Total pins decides the winner. If you lose 2 matches, you're eliminated from the tournament, so the pressure builds from there.
And there can be a lot of games bowled.
Be a lot of games bowled. It's not unusual to bowl 15 or 18 games in one day and under unique pressure.
Okay. We've got an interesting cast here. 2 ABC Hall of Famers, but our tournament leader, he's never won before.
Well, the field is very strong, as you mentioned, Mike, and our tournament leader, Hobo Boothe, is a very experienced player. He's from Southern California. He's been their Player of the Year in Southern California. He's actually in their Hall of Fame, so he's used to playing against good players.
Okay, speaking of good players, in our opening match, Rich Morris from Aurora, Illinois, will get his baptism of fire as he takes on last year's Senior Player of the Year, Gary Dickinson. And there's the handshake. Rich Morris is going to get to throw his first delivery ever on national television.
It's kind of, as you know, Mike, and I'm sure most of the people that have watched the PBA Tour over the years are aware that the player that finishes higher in the standings gets to pick the starting lane. And a lot of times they'll pick it psychologically. Sometimes they pick it by how the lanes react.
Wasn't scared there, was he?
No, it's a good shot. And we have 5 very talented players on the telecast, and not only that, but there are 5 distinctly different styles of how to play the game. So as we go along through this, I'm sure we'll get a chance to analyze each player's game. But here's one of the smoothest players you'll ever see. Great fundamentals in this game.
Basically hasn't changed in 25 years, but poor start right through the nose.
Yeah, and it's kind of unusual. You wouldn't expect that from Gary Dickinson, who, as you mentioned, he's a couple of Hall of Fame here and all this kind of stuff. And he's just going to go for 2. He'll take the 4-7, throw the ball hard cross lane, take the 2 pins. Just going to get it right into this area right here.
Hope something good happens, and it doesn't, so guess we're going to have an open. The first frame is the best place to have it.
That's right, Mike. He's still got a possible 279. The way the scores have been this week, anything can happen. You know 279 is not out of Gary Dickinson's range. Once he gets going, he can strike forever.
Using lanes 49 and 50 here at Greenacres Bowl in Greenacres, Florida. Gary snaps that 10-pin right out of there that time. Rich Morris, a newcomer here, battled his way up into 5th place, trying to take a early lead on Gary Dickinson.
Trip 4, and you know what's kind of unique about this guy's style is he really plants his foot. If you could isolate his lower body, you'd see that when he gets to the foul line, the foot is planted, the left foot is planted, the ball's almost coming out of his hip pocket still.
So kind of late timing, is that
very late timing, and a lot of upper body strength. The key to his game is his upper body strength. He's very strong physically.
Pulled that through. Boy, bad break there. Could have gone with a 7-pin left. something happened here. Everybody's cheering. A pin rolled around.
It went down. It's a good hit. It's a strike.
It's a good hit.
Okay, get a look at his style here. Watch the left foot at the foul line, right here, planted. The ball still back here in the back, and you can see because of that upper body strength, and he pulls so hard, he actually pulls him off balance.
Well, here Dickinson suddenly is down 31 pins right away, and he bites into that right away.
Here's another look at what happened. You heard all the cheering, Mike. Here's what happened.
Well, there's the 7 pin. This pin is going to roll and roll, and just delayed reaction. You used to get them like that all the time, didn't you?
Now, if the pin deck had touched that pin on its way down, it would have not counted. But nothing touched it, so it's a legal hit.
And Gary comes right back, the veteran that he is. We're going to take a break right now, but don't you touch that clicker out there, because Earl Anthony and I'll be right back after this. You buy calcium-rich Tums. Tums help wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium. And by Burger King and its everyday value menu, where you can have it your way. I love this place. And by the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service since 1895. Back live, trying to take advantage of that break, and he gets another one, knocking the 6 pin out, leaving only the 4-7.
Easy spare here, no problems. Remember when we first came on the air, I mentioned the fact that the bowler higher in the standings gets his choice of starting lanes, which means he has a slight advantage. He can pick the lane he wants to finish the 10th frame on, basically, is what he's doing. And lane 50 is hooking a little more than lane 49. So the advantage would be for Gary Dickinson, obviously, to finish on lane 49, which is he's chosen to do.
Do most guys do that, Earl? They pick the lane that's tighter to finish on, or is it
I think it depends on the individual. Some people like the lane to really hook a lot. They like to be able to throw the ball hard under pressure. Other people like to be able to almost steer it or fit it, kind of like the way you and I used to play, Mike. We wanted to be slow and deliberate and get the ball in play.
Well, it's down under a 10-pin lead right now, and solid 10 for Rich Moores. Rich is a big guy. He's 6 feet, 220 pounds, 52 years of age.
And as I mentioned before, tremendous upper body strength. He handles that 16-pound bowling ball like it's a volleyball or something. There's just not much. He's got big hands. There's a great shot of his hands. Big, strong hands, and he'll throw this cross lane, use a lot of ball speed, hard and straight right at it.
No trouble. Double kisses the 10-pin. If Gary Dickinson steps up, he can take the lead.
First time in a match, Gary could be ahead after this shot. Wouldn't be surprised, like if I mentioned he shot 279, Mike. He's been bowling so good this week.
All last year, too.
Got hurry.
Ooh. Wowee. Lane 50 seems to be the one to conquer as he leaves the 1-2-10, the washout.
That's the first shot he hasn't gone through. That particular shot, and we're going to get a look at this. Now watch Gary at the foul line. Watch him quit the follow-through. He just stops the follow-through. The ball goes off his hand. He doesn't continue with the follow-through. Ball falls off his hand, doesn't have anything on it, doesn't get back to the pocket.
And doesn't convert the spare. Why does that happen, Earl? I mean, did he lose it, or what happened there?
Well, in my opinion, Mike, I think what happened was that he left the 4-6. It was still on his mind. Remember the first frame of the match, he left the 4-6-7. He still thinks the lane is hooking more, which it is, than 49, and he tried to kind of kill the shot, and it got away from him.
So again, bowling being a mental game so many times. Gary waiting for a distraction.
That's experience.
Individual walking down the lane, or down the side, off to the side over here. Trailing, though, now by 26 pins in this match. Could have taken the lead and still trailing by 26. Trouble again. Boy, 2 wild shots, the 1-2-4-8.
Gary's going to have to make a move on the lane. I think he's playing too far out, too near the channel. He's actually outside the second arrow, and there's a buildup of oil there. If he wants to get a good ball reaction, most of the players have been successful between the second and third arrow or near the third arrow. That's where the ball seems to react the best.
Changes ball for the spare. And hangs on and converts it. Rich Moore in a very advantageous position right now.
He is, and let's see if he can take advantage of it. He is by far the most inexperienced of our 5 players, and if he can get by Gary Dickinson, he's got something to brag about.
Good shot. Flush.
He's aggressive.
He is aggressive. He hasn't thrown a soft shot yet. He's just whipped through every one of these.
Yeah, and that sometimes is under pressure a great advantage, because if what you're doing is you're giving it the maximum effort on each shot physically, then there's no place to make a mistake. You can't throw it any harder than you're throwing it, and the worst thing you can do is slow it down. So he's just going up there and giving it everything he's got, every shot, and that creates consistency.
I remember that they used to say that about Billy Hardwick, that he threw it as hard as he can and it was the right speed.
Yeah, but Billy Hardwick throwing that's a great pin action there.
Dynamite pin action
Pin action there, yeah. What?
Wow, Rich Morris just sends the head pin right into the 10, takes a commanding 35-pin lead. We'll be back with more of this match right after this. Of the American Bowling Congress. It's a century old, huh?
Century old.
Right here we have Nick Mormando, former president of the Bowling Proprietors Association and co-proprietor here of Greenacres Bowl.
You can see by that tan, Nick spends a lot of time in Florida, huh? Well, Gary still has the opportunity to pull this match out, but he has to start striking now. He can't waste any more frames. A little more aggressive there.
Well, his carry is good when he gets it there.
It's very unusual for Gary to make this many mistakes. And, for him to make this many mistakes in one game, it almost never happens. Here's a look at Gary's style. We're going to get a real good look at his arm swing. One of the premier swings in the game. You see the very straight arm here, the height of the ball just above the shoulder. He squares his shoulders at the foul line. Now watch when he goes into the slide here, the balance over the knee at that point. Perfect.
And a nice break, tripping out that 4-pin, keeping him alive in this match.
This has been the hardest carry there was all week long, trying to trip the 4, and Gary gets the break. You can see almost middle of the head pin, and the last 4 pins to go were the 4, 6, 7, 10.
See if it makes a difference on this shot. No.
His style reminds me a lot of the way he plays with that, that from the waist up, he's so strong. Big shoulders, big chest, big arms, big hands. His style reminds me a lot of former senior player of the year, Gene Stas. Very similar style. Gene uses that big upper body strength to do the same thing, to actually overpower the lanes.
Trying to set it up in the foundation 9th. Pins have no chance there, Earl.
Well, he's got a good heavy roll going, and he's as long as he stays aggressive, Dickinson still has a possibility here. Anything can happen. Coming down to he must strike here in the 9th frame to have any chance at all.
This has been his difficult way.
One more ball speed.
Keeping his slim hopes still alive. If I keep score right, if I still can, I think he can take it all the way out for 232, which would get Rich Moore's attention, make him show up for the 10th frame.
Well, he'd make him get a good count on his first shot and mark. Otherwise, he could lose the match. So Gary needs all 3. Gotta hurry.
And the first bad break as far as a pocket hit that he's had. He leaves a 7-pin, and that pretty well wraps up this match.
And I'm sure completely unexpected by this full house. We've got a lot of spectators here that expected Gary Dickinson to get by this first match. The only person that didn't was the guy that's sitting on the bench watching Gary Dickinson finish out his turn. Morris came in here very aggressively, and he deserves to win this match. He bowled very well.
Yeah, I mean, his first time on TV, he could take it all the way out for, 267, 10 strikes. It wouldn't be too bad to start out with.
It's a pretty good game when you can shoot 100 pins over your... He can get a patch here. His low game of the tournament, I think, was something like 167. Don't you get a century award from the American Bowling Congress?
Yeah, I think of all those things. I never won any of those, but...
Yeah, Mike, there isn't anything you haven't won. What are you trying to kid here?
Now he'd probably like to save some of them.
He wants to save a
is
few
going to
of
be
those.
the winner. When we come back after this break, we're going to have a feature on the ABC Hall of Fame inductees this week. Stay with us. A special moment in bowling took place last week in Mobile, Alabama at the 91st American Bowling Congress Annual Championships. PBA Senior Tour members Bob Hart and Mike Berlin were enshrined in the American Bowling Congress Hall of Fame. The 56-year-old Hart earned 3 ABC tournament titles and was an international star in the mid-70s before joining the professional ranks.
Everybody, I suppose, at sometime in their career, they think ahead and wonder whether it's possible. And when it happens, what can I say? It's been a great week for me here, and it's not over yet. It's given me a chance to reflect back over 40 years, and it's been a great experience for me.
Berlin also starred on the ABC lanes, winning the 1970 All Events crown. The Muscatine, Iowa's right-hander's biggest PBA moment came in 1977 when he captured the prestigious Tournament of Champions title.
Dick Weber, Carmen Salvino, Billy Hardwick. Little did I know that in a few years I'd be bowling alongside of them and against them. And now to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame with the legends of the game is the ultimate highlight of my career.
Also inducted on the specially installed ABC lanes were Roger Tessman of Homosassa, Florida, who served as ABC's executive secretary from 1982 until retirement in 1989. Eric DeFreitas of Brooklyn, New York. William Haw of Omaha, Nebraska, and posthumously honored Maceo Satao of Los Angeles, Sidney Celestine of Chicago, and Lafayette Allen of Detroit. ABC Hall of Fame and Convention Week also included the 65th appearance in the ABC tournament by the legendary Hall of Famer Joe Norris. The 86-year-old San Diego resident rolled 536 in the team event, 527 in doubles, and 503 in singles, increasing his lifetime record pinfall to 113,476 pins. That's an amazing 195 average. Norris competes in 3 leagues weekly, demonstrating how bowling truly is a lifetime sport. And our final score of our first match, an upset here. Rich Moores defeats Gary Dickinson 256 to 211. Rich Moores has another obstacle in his way. He's going to take on a Hall of Famer in Mike Berlin in our second match. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mike Durbin again with Earl Anthony from Greenacres Bowl in Greenacres, Florida, bringing you the second match of the ABC PBA Senior Masters Championship. And in that second match, Rich Moores was quite impressive in that opening game. We'll see if he can continue it here.
Well, like you said, Mike, it doesn't get any easier. Mike Berlin, an American Bowling Congress Hall of Famer. Maybe one of the best pressure players I've seen. He's a great clutch player. When when Mike Berlin needs to make a good shot, he almost always comes through. Only the 10-pin. Cross lane, switches balls, as you saw. He'll go cross lane here with a lot of ball speed.
What's your feeling about switching balls for spares like that?
I don't have any problem with that. I know that a lot of people do disagree with that because of the different feel of the ball. But I think with today's equipment, especially the way some of these bowling balls will hook, it's a good idea to have a ball that won't hook so you can make the single pin spares, because all you have to do is hit them. You don't have to throw a good ball to knock down one pin. You just have to hit it.
So you don't have to have a perfect release to do it?
No, just consistency and use good fundamentals and you'll make your spares. First look at one of the more unique styles in the game of bowling. Well, pretty successful. Here's a good look at Mike Berlin now. Here he is getting ready. He's getting all set to go. Now watch the backswing. What we can't see here, what's very important, look how high the backswing is for one thing. Look at the shoulders turning out. And then as he goes on to the foul line, right here, look how he throws his shoulder back past beyond square, actually in front of his chin.
kind of hard to do that time and time again the same way, isn't it?
But what we can't see about Mike Berlin in that particular shot, Mike, and I think it's even more important, is his footwork. It's very unique footwork. He actually starts and walks as much as 10, drifts as much as 10 boards to the left on the approach before on the way to the foul line.
Now, I always heard that it was easier for bowlers that drifted left like that to be able to play an inside angle. Is that true?
Well, I feel that way, and when I wanted to play inside and get more hit on the ball or more leverage, I would go in. I would walk away from my target, and it helps you hit up on the ball, so you can create more back end. Get the ball to finish on the back end.
That's interesting. I should have learned that. You know, maybe I'll learn how to get more hook. Huh?
Michael, the way you roll the ball and never miss the pocket in your whole career, what difference does it make?
Rich Moore, speaking of not missing the pocket, hasn't missed it too often so far.
And his carry percentage is tremendous.
Walks it in there again.
Well, he's pumped up. You can see by his reaction there, he's ready to go. He's doing a little dance on the approach, and we just hope he doesn't get too tired to bowl 4 games out there, Mike, jumping around like that.
I'll tell you what, as strong as he looks like he could last 4 games to me.
I think he can last 40
rounds.
Yeah. Well, the lane condition here, 49.50 at the bowling center, is they used a spray gun to do the lanes. They buffed it to 42 feet, and the pins are new pins. They weigh 3 pounds 6 ounces and 3 pounds 7 ounces.
And he pounds in a double. You know, we did that feature on the as we take a look at Pat Morris, who was very pleased with her husband's efforts right now. We did that feature on the ABC induction into the Hall of Fame, and the ABC has just recently allowed women into the ABC, and several bowled this tournament, and already they're beginning to win high score awards.
Well, there are a lot of very talented women bowlers in the country, and it's not unusual for them to be able to beat a lot of the men. I'm not sure if I'm for the fact that it's going to be a mixed American Bowling Congress. I have my druthers on that. I don't want my wife to go out and beat me, and she can already do that. She doesn't have to do it within the American Bowling Congress.
She wants to get recognized for doing it.
That's right. She does.
Does he make any kind of adjustment off the 7-pin, or he just throws it right back in there again?
I don't think so. I don't think I would you? I think he's just going to keep it in the pocket, keep it in play. Right now, the way Mike is playing the lanes, there's only one thing he can do, and that's just to keep it right around that 3rd arrow. He's playing around 16, 17.
It's a good break, knocks the bucket out of there, leaves only the 5-pin. It's struggling a little bit with lane 49.
It's interesting. Remember, Gary Dickinson had trouble on lane 50. The ball hooked too much for him, and he struggled. He made a couple of bad shots, left the washout, the 4-6, things like that, trying to make adjustments. Here, Mike Berlin is getting just the opposite reaction, as he's having problems on the left-hand lane. He's actually lined up on lane 50, which hooks the most, so he likes it to hook. Lane 49, twice now he's been light in the pocket. Here's a chance. What Mike's going to do here is he's going to try to get lined up to the pocket. He's using the 5-pin to line up.
That was a pretty good shot, the second one.
Here's a good look at Mike Berlin's first shot. Now watch this. Watch how the ball reacts. He's a little deep in the lane, and what happens is it tends to skid farther. The more you get toward the middle of the lane, the more the ball wants to skid. Now that ball was in around 17, 18 board. It never does pick up a roll. You can see it's way down the lane, a good 50 feet before it even started to turn over.
Rich Moore's trying for one more. Ooh, the flush 10. He's got, seems like, just such a direct line to the pocket. If he pulls a little bit, it just sets flush. If he swings it, it comes back for that light hit.
He's got the right kind of roll for the shot. There's no question about it. He's got the ball. He's got a lot of side turn on the ball, and you can see how he hits up on it. We've watched that, and we've seen his ball reaction. But when he hit up on the ball on it with side turn like that, the ball will skid a long ways. But once it grips very hard, goes left.
Runs down the 10-pin, no trouble. Right now we have a 9-pin match. Rich Moores has those 9 pins.
There's a good look of how he puts his hand in the ball. And if you're at home watching this and you want to know how the proper way to do that is put your fingers in first and lay your thumb in the thumb hole.
The result is you dice the 5-pin just like that, right?
He's hurting those pins.
Earl Anthony and I will be back with the completion of match number 2 right after these messages. It was Darrell Dobbs, the executive director of the American Bowling Congress, done such an outstanding job. He's been working with the Brunswick World Team Challenge that you're pretty involved in, and I understand that they're trying to expand that internationally with the hopes of that building to try and get in bowling in the Olympics.
Well, I think there's no question Darrell Dobbs is the premier promoter of the sport of bowling right now, and with the World Team Challenge, we're going to 16 cities now, Mike, and we are having tournaments around the world, and it looks like it's going to continue to grow, and I think this is the finest promotion bowling's had in years, this World Team Challenge, because it's so successful at this point.
Through the nose, breaks it up, leaves only the 4-7. Mike Berlin kind of struggling right now.
He is kind of struggling, and that looked like the shot he should have been throwing on lane 49, and lane 50, of course, as we've talked about several times, is hooking more, so he has to be a little careful in this lane. Now, this one is an easy spare for someone like Mike. He'll go cross lane, good ball speed right at the 4-7.
At the 4-7, and no trouble.
We're going to take a look at Mike Berlin's footwork. Here's a good look, and watch, he'll step off. As he steps off, right here, the left foot, it goes to the left. The right foot crosses in front. The left continues going to the left. And there's the slide. As you see, he pulls the ball through. It pulls him a little bit sideways, but Mike Berlin's footwork is very good rhythmically, but he tends to walk at least 10 to 12 inches to the left on the way to the foul line.
All right, let's see it now.
Lane 49, and gets the wall shot. Keeping himself alive in the match right now. Rich Moores, who has 4 children.
4 children?
4 children. Let's go take a look at these 4 pins going down.
And he's got a lot of people cheering for him, doesn't he? There's a good look at the head pin going to the wall. The last 3 pins out, the 4, 5, 7. That's the way Mike Durbin used to do it. He and Dick Weber, the 2 best at the wall shots.
And, oh, another solid 10.
Same lane, back to back.
Well, he says, this is getting annoying now. He's so lined in, come on, give me my hits.
Well, the bad thing is it's a one-game match, and you know how quickly that can be over with. And if you lose a few of those really good hits and Mike Berlin gets it going, cross lane again, switches balls, a lot of ball speed.
A lot of ball speed. Consistently he does that. He's throwing the ball over 19 miles an hour consistently.
He's so strong. And, even these senior bowlers, we talked about this, even these senior bowlers, these are the best senior players in the world, and some of them are using 15-pound bowling balls.
Mike Berlin is right here today. Back in the pocket, and another solid 10. Third one at 4 frames.
Well, this has been what's happened all week long. The scores have been reasonably high, or you might say on the high side for all the players. The qualifying scores were good. All the players have found the shot, how to get the ball to the pocket, but the problem has been carrying the 10-pin and the 4-pin. Whoever's been able or capable of carrying those corner pins has been the one that's been the most successful. And obviously our 2 leaders, Hobo Boothe and Ron Winger, have been the most successful. Their carry has been the best.
Right now, Mike Berlin can really put a dent in this lead, and he gets a couple strikes, can take the lead himself.
Well, you don't give Mike Berlin very many opportunities. He'll come get you. Let's see if he makes an adjustment. Last time in this lane, he was high. He left with 4-7. He needs a little more ball speed here. The hard thing is to switch from lane to lane and change your ball speeds.
To even the match, and does. Well, that ball held pocket all the way.
Yeah, he really got around that one. Got a lot of spin on the ball. Once the ball gets down the lane like that with that much spin, and these new reactive resin balls, they grip the lane, they go left, and they carry everything.
And we see that he threw the ball at 18.6 miles per hour. Bellied it out about what?
Well, at 45 feet, the ball was still out to the 13 board, so it hadn't started back to the pocket. That shows you how hard the ball breaks on the end. The importance of ball speed and release to control the break point or would determine whether you can strike or not. It gives you the entry angle.
Same hit, but the 7-pin stands.
He can't get the ball to finish into the pocket on lane 49 for some reason, and I would think someone with Mike's experience would come up with something there, a little different release or ball speed or something.
So you think he, rather than move the feet, maybe just soften up on the speed?
I don't think he can move. I think if he moves out of that playable area, he's not going to get a good ball reaction. What he should be doing is trying to change the rotation of the ball, get a little earlier roll, or maybe a little less ball speed.
subtle adjustments a professional needs to make in order to be successful.
Mike's a Hall of Famer. He's won major events, as you mentioned. He's won the Tournament of Champions, which is the biggest tournament on the PBA Tour. He's capable of doing it, but I think maybe as we get a little older, we don't have quite that feel we had when we were in our 30s. Those subtle adjustments don't come quite so easily. Well, we know what this young man's going to do. He's going to get up there and he's going to rip the holes out of it and throw it hard.
Does again. And he says, the heck with that solid hit. I'm going to rip him.
I'll tell you what, he had that 5-pin jumping out of there real good, and that means the ball is really gripping the lane when it enters the pocket area.
Big shot coming up now. He's got a 1-pin lead heading to the 9th frame.
This so far would be the biggest shot of the tournament for him, I think, right here. If he can strike here, he's in command going into the 10th frame. Mike Berlin, possible 227, and he'll finish the match first. This is a very, as you mentioned, all-important strike. Really turned that one up.
Pins were dancing to get down there.
You know, this is so much fun for me as you get a look at this ball. Watch this ball as it enters the pocket area. Watch how, first of all, watch his release. He's going to really rip it up. Actually pulls himself off balance. He threw it so hard and turned it so much. And then look at the pins.
Mike Berlin up, needing a strike in the 9th frame to keep the lead at 11. But he trails by 11.
All right, let's see.
And flush 10. Boy, good shot.
Excellent shot. Maybe the best shot of the match by Mike. And as I mentioned, Mike, he's so capable of making those good shots in the clutch. Just not a good break. Of course, Morris has left so many solid 10s this match. This could be long over with, Mike, if he had carried those 10 pins.
Mike Berlin switches balls at the 10 pin. No trouble with it, but he's going to need a double in the 10th frame, Earl.
And this has been his toughest lane, really. Lane 49, he has yet to get the ball to hit high in the pocket. He's been light 4 consecutive shots on this lane.
Interesting, though, he picked the finish on this lane.
It is interesting. A lot of times there are varying reasons for that, but let's watch this shot. This is, as you said, he has to have at least 2 strikes in the 10th frame.
Has to hurry. Gets that light hit this time. He's staying with it, Earl.
And you can see Mike's reaction. He turned around and there's that look of almost disbelief on his face as we get a good look at his wife here. And she can't really believe what's going on either. She, I'm sure, expected Mike to be scoring a little higher than this.
His wife, Mary. He's still alive in the match, though. He gets this one and one more, and he shoots 216.
Very, very good possibility of a tie yet, Mike, in this match.
Yeah, Rich Moore's going in a 218 pace right now.
Well, he made that one finish.
And left the 4-pin.
Well, after 5 consecutive shots that didn't get up to the pocket, he really made it finish when he had to, and unfortunately it was a little bit too much.
Make the wives sit together like that. That's kind of torture there, isn't it?
Haven't been any fistfights yet, so we're okay.
Okay. Well, Rich Morris is going to need some kind of mark here in the 10th frame in order to move on to face Ron Winger.
Now's the time to stay aggressive. Don't try to fit it. Get up there and fire and fall back.
Okay, we'll see if he does.
Oh, he got a big break.
What a nice break. Did you see that elbow on that shot?
Yeah. Well, he wanted to throw it hard, and he actually overthrew the ball, and he got the elbow way out to the right there, and that doesn't let the ball finish. He got the big break when the 5-pin fell. For a moment there, the spare was the 2-5, and it's a very choppable spare, and as you mentioned, he needs the mark. He must make this spare to win the match. Oh, be careful. Oh, my.
That was an interesting follow-through that time, too.
That was an interesting shot.
Wow, his wife says, okay, honey.
Look at him. Look at his reaction.
Well,
I don't think he meant to throw it quite that straight.
2 kind of shaky shots, but he got his mark, and he's going to move on. There's the shot he was looking for right there. Well, Rich Morris finishes with a strike, finishes with 217 to 206. He's going to take on Ron Winger in our next match. Stay with us. Well, now, Earl, it's time for the average builder portion of our telecast.
This is the American Bowling Congress PBA Senior Masters Tournament. And because it is a senior tournament, I thought I'd like to gear this week's tip to senior bowlers. And to help me do that is the senior bowler himself, Earl Anthony. Hi, Earl.
Hi, Michael. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, Earl. You know, as we get older, past 50, start pushing 60, many of us are not quite the same physically as we used to be. So it's my thinking that maybe we need to make adjustments in our game. And one way may be by reducing the weight, not of ourselves, but of the bowling ball, say from like 16 pounds to 15 pounds for guys. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea, and I see nothing wrong with going as far as, say, 14. The reason being that the good things, the pluses, far outnumber the bad things, and by that you gain more ball speed. You don't tire quite so easily. Say the third game with your 16, you're getting tired in league play. With a 14 or a 15, you won't tire quite so quickly.
Well, you know, the wrap on a 15-pound ball is that I won't be able to carry as well as with a 16-pound ball. How do you answer that?
Well, I think you will, because, like I say, you'll be able to generate slightly more ball speed without near as much effort, and by doing so, you'll be able to play farther out near the channel, outside the second arrow in most cases, and with that kind of angle coming into the pocket, you'll still strike quite well. Okay, well, I got a 15-pound ball here, but I can't play out there by the channel, Earl, so it may bounce back at me. Let's see what happens. Oh, no, the way you roll it, Mike, no problem.
No problem, huh? Okay. Well, it was a little light, but it did strike. So remember, when you turn the big 5-0, you may need to go to the 1-5 bowling ball, and it will still strike. We'll see you again in late June when we'll have a whole new series of Average Builders.
Well, Rich Morris continues his onward and upward march, 217 to 206 over Mike Berlin. Next, he's going to take on Ron Winger. We'll be back to see that match right after this.
Tomorrow night only on ESPN.
Opening night baseball, we're going to see St. Louis at Cincinnati, April 3rd, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. New season coming up, Earl. And we got a new game coming up right here to see if Rich Morris can continue mowing down these veteran PBA Hall of Famers and guys that bowl 300. That's what Ron Winger did his last time on ESPN.
Well, Rich just doesn't seem to have any respect for these guys at all. He's just going to go out there and beat on you. And he's a very aggressive, go-get-'em type guy, and he's showing that on the lanes. He's not backing down to any of these guys' credentials. 2 Hall of Famers down already, and now he's working on a Southern California Hall of Famer. My, it's fun to watch. I'm glad I'm not bowling this guy.
I don't know if I would want to watch his ball. That might demoralize me, I'll tell you.
All right, this is our first look at another great fundamental game, Ron Winger. This guy can, and always has been, able to really rev it up, get a lot of rotation on the bowling ball, and I believe his carry power throughout this tournament has been better than anyone else's.
All right, let's go.
You don't carry it up there very often, no. Tough spare. He leaves the 3, the 6, the 7, and the 10.
Kind of started the way Dickinson did.
All right, now the idea here is to get the ball right here. This pin will take out this one, the ball will take out these two, and Ron Winger's a very good spare shooter. I expect he'll give it a good shot, Mike. Well, he didn't this time. Making a liar out of me, isn't he?
I think a little nerves on that first shot, Earl.
We'll take a look at this. Take a look at the way Ron Winger gets the foul. And you see the deep knee bend right here. This is unique. This is tiring, especially in this many games. And then as we go to the foul line, watch the backswing. Gets just perfectly to shoulder height. And here at the bottom, watch the knee bend here again when he gets to the foul line, and the good balance.
Ronnie a little high, leaves the 4-pin. A couple of shaky opening shots, but should be able to convert this
That's
spare.
a good description. I believe Mike is right now. He's bowling like he's nervous. And this guy bowled 300 game on television.
never seems to go away, though. I mean, especially when you're coming off of that first match and the first few frames, that the butterflies in the stomach are still there.
There's always an advantage to the player that won the previous match. There's no question.
Yeah, Rich Morris right now is just on cruise control. It's a matter of whether he carries. He's really enjoying himself.
You know, what always seemed to work better for me was to get up there with kind of a controlled anger. In other words, I would try to work myself into a state of controlled anger where I could go out there and not be mad that I couldn't control my emotions, but angry enough that I would be aggressive. And I think that's the key for some of these guys. When they first get out there, they got to go after it, just like Rich Moore's doing.
So where was your anger directed? At the pins or what? As we see the commissioner of the Professional Bowlers Association, Mike Connors, enjoying the strikes that Rich Morris is throwing. That's his lovely wife right next to him. Bang, knocked that 10-pin out there.
He didn't like that one, and I didn't like that one either, but he got the strike. And there's the benefit of the new bowling balls, I think, right there. You can make a mistake, and as long as you get in the pocket area, you still have a good opportunity to strike. He made a real bad shot there and got away with it.
Well, Ron Winger's made a couple of bad shots. He needs to start making good ones.
Well, as they continue, there's that ball shot, which you're so prolific at, Michael.
Yeah, I needed that to average 180. Ron Winger trailing by 32. Can bite into that, though, if he can get a double right here.
It seems like everyone comes out of the gate and gives Rich Moore. He comes out very aggressive, gets the strikes going. Everybody else kind of waiting around to see what's going to happen. And by the time they get lined up, it's too late. Puts him away.
You know, I just happened to think last year Phil Ware won this tournament, a relative unknown, and it might happen again this year. All right, Ringer says. Didn't exactly saw him out of there. They kind of tilted him over, but they fell.
He got the job done. You know, he's again, he's a Southern California boy, and he lost a lot during that big major earthquake they had down there. He severe damage to his home, lost his pro shop and everything. So he's out here trying to pick up some dollars to maybe get everything back together again.
I used to practice at that bowling center in Corporate Bowl where he had his pro shop. Practice a lot of times there. Well, when it's going right, it's going right.
Yeah, that's two completely strange shots from Rich Moore. The last two shots he's made on 49 and 50 have been anything resembling what he's done in the past. I don't know what's happening here. It may be that he's getting a little quick with his feet or something. Something's wrong because he's not really.
Maybe he's starting to realize what can possibly happen here.
Well, one more match. He's bowling for the championship if he wins this one. Now he's starting to think. That's usually what happens. You make a bad shot, you get away with it. Now you're thinking, I got to make an adjustment. Well, you didn't have to make an adjustment. You have to make a better shot.
2-4-5.
2-4-5, probably the toughest spare on this lane condition because there's a little bit more oil in the middle. Tendency is for the ball to slide if you start in the middle of the lane. If you go across, it wants to hook, so be careful. Hard and straight, right at it.
And no trouble. Knocks out the 2-4-5, hits every pin with the ball. Rich Moore is in a commanding position right now, 29 pins ahead.
Early in the game, lots of room yet for Ron Winger.
We're going to have to go away right now. As we said, Rich Moores is 29 pins ahead. When we come back, we'll see if Ron Winger can bite into that lead. While we were away, Ron Winger struck on lane 50 to cut it to 19 pins. Left the 10 pin here on 49. And here is that 10 pin that he just left. If he struck here, he could have got the lead under 10 pins. Big shot.
It's called a flat 10 or the soft 10. The ball didn't quite enter at the right angle to strike, but not enough power either one. And, you leave the 6-pin lane in the channel.
20 pins the difference right now. And
going harder and harder, isn't he?
Back together again here. Do you see how he kind of came out of that ball? Looked almost like he kind of just twisted out of that
ball. Like he's throwing a Frisbee down there.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's getting the job done, I'll tell you what.
He certainly got everybody's attention here. 20 pins ahead, can increase it to 30 if he can strike here in the 7th frame. shots twice in a row. Is that lane changing, or is that him?
I think he's getting deeper on the lane. I think he's making mistakes, Mike. I don't think it's the lane that's changing that much. You can see by the look on his face, he's a little frustrated. He's probably saying, I don't know what's going on here. I thought I made a good shot. But I think it's getting to the point where there's a little more nerves involved right now.
He switched balls to shoot the 2-4-5. With Bucket, he's using the same ball.
He wants the ball to hit the 8 pin. Got a break. Got a break.
He's had a few of those tonight.
Yes, he has. All right, we're going to take another look at that shot. Watch the spare. Watch the ball barely get enough of the 5 pin, and it falls just. That's why they put paint on him, I guess, Mike. So
I thought it was a breeze. Huh?
All right, let's see if Ron Winger can make a match out of this. 20 pins down, 4 frames to play.
Stroke that one. Stroke that one pretty. Well, I would think this next shot is a big shot right now. Cut that lead to 10 pins if he can double up. See the difference there, 20 pins, 3 frames to go. You would think, even though he's down, that the advantage would be with Winger because he's got the experience.
You're right, I agree. And here's a look at at Ron Winger's approach. He takes 6 steps to get to the foul line. And it kind of reminds me of one of the all-time, maybe the all-time great Dick Weber. Sometimes he took 6, 7. He never knew, I don't think, half the time how many he was going to take. There's a break.
Oh, what a nice break by Winger. I think he thought it was going to be flush, and it crept high, but he got the trip 4 out of there.
He keeps moving deeper and deeper in the lane, and by that I mean he's getting farther and farther toward the center where there's more oil. Here's a look at that pin action again. The ball almost dead center of the head pin. The last 3 pins to go, the 4, 7, 10. And here's a look at the ball. Look at the bowler track. You see the ball going down the lane where it breaks. It's at 13 board at 45 feet, and he's throwing it almost 18.5 miles an hour.
With a solid 10 for Rich Moores. He's had no trouble converting these so far, and he's left a number of them. If he makes it, he stays 9 pins ahead. He needs to convert it to stay ahead. He's got some interesting follow-throughs at those spares.
He does. Everything he does is physical strength. It's, he's not a finesse player. That's obvious. He gets up there and he just wants to overpower everything that's out there. This is the key to the match right here. If there's a key shot in the match, this is the one for Rich Moores. If he strikes here, he's still basically in command of the match. He has a chance to make Ron Winger really work hard to win it. Ron Winger cannot be shut out, no matter what happens here.
Same thing, light again, only this time he loses the count.
Now he's really getting that ball down there in a hurry. He's actually getting it farther out on the lane now before it touches the lane. He's throwing it a little bit over the head area, which also diminishes some of the friction he might pick up.
So is he thinking about that he just barely made it the last time?
Well, it would be on my mind. And I'm not sure I would use the ball he's using to pick this up because the other one's easier to control. The shiny one that he uses for his spares.
Well, he got it again.
He got it again, but I'll tell you what, you go to the well too often and you're going to get nailed here. But Ron Winger has a chance to win this match. Nothing that Rich Morris can do. If Ron Winger were to throw the next 2 strikes, he's a winner.
This is for the lead.
This is for the lead. First time in the match that he's been in the lead. You see the concentration, the intensity in his eyes, and he let it get away from him.
And gives it right back on the count and everything. The 2-4-5-8. Disappointed in himself.
He is in this spare. That particular spare on this lane is even more difficult because remember, this lane hooks more.
So what would you do? Throw hard and straight at it?
I would play hard and straight down the left side of the lane. I wouldn't go cross lane at it. I'd throw it right at it down the left side, but that's me. Makes the spare, strikes out in the 10th. He can make Moore's double.
Trouble. Oh, what a nice break that was. Woo! Man, I like to see the pin action on that. Boy, I haven't seen reaction like this too many times. Have you?
Well, you asked for it, Mike, and you're going to get it. You see, just through the George is giving it to you, just for you. George Smith, our director. Here's a look at it. Watch this. You see, the 2-pin just got enough of the 5 to kick it out.
And the 5 hit the 8.
That's right. And here's his reaction. Look at the look on his face. Whoops. He's doing a little dance up there. Back to live.
He has to hurry. Wow.
Well, he just kind of gave this one away. And
wow. I mean, an experienced player like that with an opportunity.
You got to get the ball in the pocket area. You can't just send it out twice in a row. He just let it get away. The shot on lane 50 completely got away from him. This particular shot here, whether he was trying to make an adjustment or what, I don't know, Mike, but it wasn't his best effort by a long ways.
And he's just handed this match on a silver platter to Rich Moores. Rich Moores basically just needs to show up in the 10th frame. Just a halfway decent count. 4 or 5 pins, and he's going to be a winner.
Stay behind the foul line, keep the ball in the lane. That's all he has to do, basically.
Somebody shouted, "There's a winner." They were absolutely right. He gets 9. He knew he just had to keep it on the lane, hit the head pin, and that's what he did. Wowee. Rich Morris is moving on up. Earl, when we come back, we're going to get a chance to show our viewers a little bit about the future of bowling.
It was 1955 when
We're looking at Larry Schaefer there, who is the president-elect of the American Bowling Congress. He's going to be president when they have that new stadium built, Earl, and 20,000 teams they're expecting. That's 100,000 bowlers. That's an awful lot of
remarkable.
bowlers.
I'm going to go down there and watch. I just want to see what happens when they open that up. I'm really looking forward to that. And congratulations also to the city of Reno for being such a big part of bowling.
It seems to me that you would at least want to throw one ball in the stadium.
Well, here we go.
Starts with a wall shot here.
Here we go. This is for all the money, Mike.
And it's a lot of money. $38,000 to the winner, $23,000 to the loser. Followed through nice with that one.
That was his best shot he's made in the last game and a half, I think, Mike. He doesn't look like the pressure is affecting him. Believe me, folks, there's a lot of pressure when you're bowling on national television for this kind of money and the right to be called the American Bowling Congress Senior Masters Champion. You feel things out there. Your heart's pounding. Things you feel like maybe you can't even feel the floor on the way to the approach. On your approach going to the foul line, everything is different. Look at the concentration, the intensity in his eyes. Gotta hurry.
And he just keeps coming in. That's 4 times in a row he's come in light on that lane. This time, the 2-4-10. He gets a split out of it.
It's the first time he's really paid any major penalties in any of the first the 3 previous matches, Mike. He got some good breaks. He got some bad breaks. He made some great shots, left a solid 10 pins in situations that could have continued a string of strikes and maybe closed those matches out sooner. This is the first time he's really gotten a bad break that could cost him an open.
He's going for it.
And he made it.
Oh, wonderful!
This is when you start to think maybe this is my day. We're going to take another look at it. The idea is to slide the 2-pin into the 10. Watch this. Just enough of it. That was a lot better shot than he made at the 2-pin to win that other match we showed you.
And Hobo comes right back with a 4-6-7.
It seems like everyone that's come on, each individual that's come on to bowl against Rich Morris has had a problem on lane 50. The only one that really didn't was Mike Berlin. He struggled more on lane 49, but they've been high on this lane. It hooks more. And, you know, Michael, you've bowled a lot of telecasts. You know what it's like to be waiting in the wings to bowl this one game, you know, or whatever it might be. And it would seem to me that they would be paying attention to how the ball's reacting on the lanes.
Plus, we know that Hobo got 6 practice balls over here before the start of the match.
Right. And knowing that the right lane is hooking more, you would think that they would make the adjustments for that. It seems like maybe we're expecting too much from some people that have never won a tournament before, but these guys are excellent players. They're both very good players, and I would expect to make better adjustments.
Hobo with a very simple game. Nice free swing. He's been working on his hand release to get a little more side turn so that the ball goes further and breaks later for him. That's what happens with him.
Yeah, and he's very smooth with that release. And he's one of the few players that can get away with releasing the ball while he's still sliding and get around the side of it. What he does, and it's a forced turn. It's not a natural release for him, so he has to really work at it.
Back in the pocket on lane 50. Will he make the adjustment? What should he do over here on lane 49?
Well, I don't know exactly his game that well, Mike, that I could suggest to him what to do. But what I think he's going to do is go straighter. I think he's going to throw the ball a little straighter and maybe even with more ball speed to try to keep it on line.
So he won't move his feet? He'll just tighten the line?
I think he'll square everything up a little bit.
Oh, he will.
I think
okay.
that's the logical move to make. You got to stay in that area of the lane. So he's going to throw it harder and straighter, I think. Well, he threw it harder, but he didn't get it back to the pocket.
He just keeps coming up light on lane 49. And this is the lane he's going to have to finish on in this match, right?
Yeah, he threw it harder, and he made a move, Mike. He moved like you suggested he might do. He moved to the right. He actually tried to give the ball more room and hook it back from farther out near the channel. It didn't come back, and that's why you have to stay in that one area of the lane in between the third and fourth arrow to get a good ball reaction.
Boy,
tough spare, 2-5.
He could have taken a commanding lead with a strike there. Oh, a little chink in the armor this time. He's been flirting with missing that 2-pin, and now he's done it.
He has, and remember when he made the bucket twice, which he left, both times he barely got the ball to touch the 5-pin. This time it looks like he said, well, I'm not going to miss that 5-pin. So he misses the 2-pin.
And he used the shiny ball that time, too.
Right, he did. Well, here's the man that's led this thing. He's undefeated going into this championship match. Won every match he played.
Oh, it's short, right through the heart. Just no room at all in lane 50. Leaves the 3-6.
Well, he got a break. Could have been a lot worse. This shouldn't be that difficult to spare. There are a lot of ways to miss it, but there's several ways to make it also. I think he'll go cross lane at this. He's going to use the same ball that he's throwing his strikes with. He'll move a little bit left with his feet. Play the center of the lane here, around the fourth arrow, and throw it right at them. Directly at him, just like that.
Well, keeps this match close and interesting right now. An even match, both players with one open. In addition to the $38,000 that the winner gets, he's going to get this beautiful ABC ring. So a lot riding on this final game. That span starts to get shorter and shorter and shorter. Got lane 49 now.
Well, he likes the oil. He doesn't throw the ball extremely hard. He's very smooth. Stroker, what we call a stroker, who's trying to get some side rotation on the ball. It's really hard for someone that strokes the ball or doesn't plant their foot and pull the ball through to get around the side of the ball. The reason people plant their foot and pull the ball through is it gives them time to get around the side. He doesn't have time, so he has to almost flip spin it. Here's a guy who can plant that foot and pull it through.
He's doing it very well in this lane, but he leaves the 4-pin this time. You know, no matter who wins this match, we're going to have a new winner.
First-time champion. And that's one of the reasons you'll see him struggling a little bit. Neither one have ever won a major tournament before, a PBA event, of course. And this, the American Bowling Congress Senior Masters Championship, is certainly a major event. He missed it. He missed it, Mike. And that's just how he almost missed that 2-pin.
Yeah, same way.
Careless.
Is that just careless?
I think that's just being careless. I mean, his wife wasn't real happy with that shot. Here's a look at it again. Now watch this. He just flat pulls the ball, expecting it not to hook, and it does grip the lane right there and hooks off into the channel.
So back-to-back opens by Rich Moores, giving Hobo Boothe an 11-pin lead. Well, he got it back for the strike this time.
Yeah, he's moving. He keeps continuing to move to the right with his feet and his target, and he finally got the ball to react the way he wanted it to. At least he got it back to the pocket.
You suppose the oil's carrying down the lane on that one?
I think you're very right. It is carrying down, but I still think it's the wrong way to go. If it was me, you know, but they know what they're doing out there. They're the ones that are bowling. I think he should be going deeper to see what Hobo can do here on a strike. He has moved in deeper, and he's almost to the point where his ball's not going to hit hard enough to carry out that 8-10. That one there, the last two pins down were the 8-10. We're going to look at the bowler track, give you an idea of how he's playing the lane and where he's at. He's at the 18.5 board at 15 feet. The ball going out to the 15.5, then finally to 14.5 board at 45 feet. And he's throwing at 18.7 miles an hour, which is quite a bit of speed for Hobo Boothe. He's throwing the ball hard.
Oh, he sent that one wide.
Almost got it back.
Comes back, leaves just the 5 and the 8.
Kind of a break there, leaving, kicking out the 2 and the 4, leaving just the 5 and the 8. Could have been much more difficult, the bucket. Here's a look at it. You can see the ball between the second and third arrow. Actually got it out into no man's land there. He got back just enough to break down the bucket. This is a chance to line up. Whenever you have something in the pocket area, it's a good chance to line up if you're not lined up to the pocket. It gives you a chance to practice hitting the pocket.
Difference, 19 pins from Rich Moores, who's been hitting lane 50 very well. You can cut it down to 9 if you can double here. Plus get some confidence back.
Confidence is the key at this point. He thinks, I'm sure in his mind, the lanes have changed dramatically. He's not getting the ball reaction that he expects.
Well, stuffed that one in there.
He did. Now let's see if he continues to play wide. If he moves to the right again, Michael, to get it back to the pocket, the ball could go high on him. Here's another look at that last strike. You can see he's deep inside, almost exactly over the 4th arrow. A lot of ball speed and 10 in the pit.
See the difference there. 9 pins. He can take the lead if he can strike here on lane 49.
Don't want to force it to the pocket. He moved back in. Another move. That was a good move, I thought. He moved deeper into the lane, more toward the center.
Kind of a fallback shot.
Almost a fallback. Good ball speed, and his ball's hitting so hard he doesn't have to worry about carrying the corners if he can get the ball high flush. There you see he's on the 19 board at 19 miles an hour.
Boy, it's hard to believe they're both throwing close to the same speed. And this time, says I can make that 4-pin. Well, it's coming down to the 10th frame, Earl. I mean, we're getting late in the game, and it's under a mark. Well, in fact, it's exactly 10 pins. Right now, Hobo Boothe has them.
It's the 8th frame for Hobo Boothe. Deep inside.
Boy, he got it to blow that 5 out of there.
That's remarkable. And again, part of that is his ability. Part of it is these new bowling balls, I feel, Michael, that it can let you play the 22 board, which is where he is, actually between the 3rd and 4th arrow on the left-hand side of the lane. And the ball get back and get that 5 out like that.
Big shot here for the 9th frame. Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, only the 4-pin, and we've talked about how the carry's been tough, the 10s and the 4s all week long. Really, no matter what happens, again, Hobo Boothe makes this spare chance to shoot 206 if he can strike out in the 10th. Of course, his opponent, Rich Moore, is going at the same pace, possible 206, even though it's a 10-pin difference at this point.
A tie, anything is still possible.
A tie is still possible. It'd be exciting to have him a 2-frame roll-off for a difference of $15,000 in this major championship.
This is his good lane. He needs a strike to set himself up for the 10th.
This ball will hardly touch wood, Michael. He's going to get this one down there in a hurry. A lot of ball speed. Boom.
And a great shot. Keeps it within 10. What's the scoring says? How am I doing?
He needs them all. He really does need all 3 strikes in the 10th to put some pressure on Hobo Boothe. If he were to get this one here, we'd have a possibility of a tie also in the 190s.
So the situation is he's 10 pins down, can strike out for 206 if he gets them all. He can even the match with a strike here. Very little time. A solid 10. What a great shot, Earl.
That's the best shot he made in the game, Michael, on that lane. There's no question about it. And he moved back into the center of the lane a little more, threw a lot of speed, a tremendous amount of speed. And here's a look at it. Watch. Here's a look at it. Here's 18.9 miles an hour. The ball's on the 18.5 board at 15 feet, so he actually laid it down inside the 4th arrow. Cross lane at the spare.
Well, he keeps himself alive by making it. You know, that 6-pin wasn't even close to that 10 on that replay. It flew around it by several inches.
Did it? I didn't see that. All right, count is important. He wants to strike here. He must get as many pins as he can. Finish the game out with a 186 score. Make Hobo Boothe mark to win the match and the tournament. Remember, neither one of these people have ever won a tournament before.
Well, he finishes with 8 and finishes with 184, which means Hobo is going to need a mark in order to win the match.
Well, here's another look at a different situation. If Hobo Boothe were to get 9 on his first ball and miss the spare, we'd have a tie. So that's, you know, I don't want that to happen, obviously, but it's a possibility. If he were to strike here, it's all over.
For the tournament. And leaves the 4-pin. Well, he's got to tie his shirt. He's got to make the spare.
That was a fine shot under the circumstances. And I keep coming back to this, but it's important. Neither one of these players has won before. This is a big moment. And you're 57 years old. You're out there. This is a lot of pressure.
And it may never happen to you again.
May never get this opportunity again. This is the biggest shot of his life right here. The pin looks about the size of a safety pin now. Perfect. Perfect.
That's enough.
Well, stay behind the foul line and don't throw it in the channel.
Well, he can even throw it in the channel.
Oh, he can throw it in the channel. He's got 185 no matter what. You're right.
Hobo Boothe is going to win his first tournament. It's going to be the ABC PBA Senior Masters, worth $38,000. And just right down the middle of the lane. And finishes with 9 and a final score of 194, but it's enough. We're going to break right now, Earl. In just a few seconds here, but when we come back, we'll be able to talk with our winner and have the presentation. Stay with us, please. The ABC PBA Senior Masters is being brought to you by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And by the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service since 1895. And here's your winner of this tournament, Hobo Boothe. And to make a nice presentation for the check to him is the president of the ABC, Ted Malonis.
Check's following, but I do want to congratulate you, Hobo, on behalf of the American Bowling Congress, and give you this championship Senior Masters ring. And following me will be Rich with the check.
And I was a little ahead of myself here, but I know you can't wait for that $38,000. And the general manager here at Greenacres Bowl, Rich Butera.
Hobo, on behalf of the Mamando and Williams family, we'd like to thank you guys for a great show this week and $38,000 to send you back to California. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll be back to talk to the winner right after these messages, so please stay with us.
They said to make them big, but those are humongous.
Supersize your extra value meal with a supersized order of McDonald's Golden Fries, plus a supersized Coke for just 39 cents more at McDonald's today.
Very exciting tournament there. Kind of a struggle there, but you managed to get through it.
Yes, it was. The right lane was a little slow for me, and I couldn't seem like to get it out far enough to do any carrying, but I did enough just to win.
Well, you know we got to ask you some questions, and to ask you is another ABC Masters champion, Earl Anthony.
Hobo, congratulations. What a great event for you. Your first win as a major. And just tell us, actually, all of us, what it felt like, how your heart might have been pounding a little bit in the 10th frame when you knew you needed a mark to win.
Well, it was pounding pretty good, and it still hasn't slowed down yet.
All right, you got up there. You knew you were on the lane that hooked the most.
Yes.
It was your more difficult shot for you. You left only the 4-pin. How big was that pin when you looked at it?
Well, it kind of shrunk on me. It was getting down very little.
Well, you made a great shot, and what was on your mind when you got up to shoot the 4-pin? What did you say to yourself?
Well, I just thought to myself, it's just another 4-pin, and try to go up and make the best shot.
Just another 4-pin for $38,000 in the Masters Championship. Congratulations again, Hobo. Back to you, Michael.
Yeah.
Hobo.
I'd like to thank the American Bowling Congress for the sponsor of the tournament, and Greenacres, and all the fans for coming out. Thank you very much.
One last question for me. You bowled in Southern California for years and years and years, bowled lots of tournaments, didn't bowl on the tour regular. You came out on the senior tour and you had some success. Now you've reached kind of the pinnacle by winning this tournament. How does it feel?
Well, it's the greatest, Mike. I don't think it could get any better than this. It's just the greatest feeling in the world.
Okay, we have Rich Moores over here. Rich, great performance for you.
Well, if it wasn't for all the fans here supporting me, I probably couldn't have gotten half as far as I did.
You kind of struggled a little bit on that left lane the last game and a half.
No, I was totally confused.
Well, are you pleased and satisfied with your performance, or are you disappointed that you didn't win?
I'm disappointed and pleased with what I did, and I'm just the best to Hobo, who did a great job over here.
So you're going to build on this for the future for yourself?
Certainly will.
Okay, there you have it. From both the winner here and the runner-up in the ABC PBA Senior Masters Tournament. For Earl Anthony, this is Mike Durbin saying be sure to join us when the PBA returns to ESPN June 28th. Coming up next is the NIT Finals. Be sure to stay tuned to see Villanova versus Vanderbilt.